Hi folks, I'm Trey. This is my show. Trey's Time with 15 Minutes of Explain on Odyssey and YouTube on Trey's Myths and Tunes channel. Today, my talk is called Believing is Seeing Being a Lie. Be Truth Instead. Gnosis is Living Wisdom. And when I think my time is already past, that's when I'm more sure I'll finally be free at last. And when I think the war is gone and past, then you dump some more atmospheric river on my head till this tree almost smashes in. And it reminds me of this old song I told y'all I heard last in the laundromat the same night I saw Chris. It's just like I've been walking. Feels like I've been walking on broken glass. Walking on broken glass. And when I'm sure my life has already passed, then I think maybe I'll get free at last. That's when I find out I get my greatest test. Just like the devil blessed me with this, I've been walking on broken glass. Feels like I've been walking on broken glass. Believing is seeing being a lie. Be truth instead. Gnosis is living wisdom, not living dead like Satan said. The mainstream media, for an analogy for you, is actually the equivalent of, say, having the entire earth have 105 years of unquestioned, undenied space fence in your mind. Okay? It's sort of like, imagine if this space fence had been happening for 110 years and nobody said anything. Well, that's what happened with the mainstream media. It's a fairly decent analogy, and it's coming to you from the same people. Okay, democracy. Crass demon mob rules. That's what democracy really means, right? The crass demons of the mob rule. The majority rules. Must have access. Okay, so this is why it's so important to get correct, accurate information, and why the majority are suicidal or idiots if they don't. Because the majority must have access to accurate truth, or the external reality will remain lies. If the majority believes it, then the world is a lie. If I go downtown, not this world. The forest is never a liar. When you're in nature, it's the truth. Peaceful, beautiful, not in judgment, not separation, oneness, no rot, mycelium, regeneration, no fear, no regret, recycling, and so transformation is the key. It doesn't die, it's transformed. Everything. Forest floor never rots, it becomes fertilizer immediately. This is the way the world works. Okay? So the average person in a comfortable cage, in a box with climate temperature control, is often, or in this county, for example, working here all the time, 7 days a week, for survival in the box, safety, pseudo-safety. An alive person sees the truth, all weather, We must accept all weather conditions, even if they're engineered. But then if you're me, you feel you must expose the falsities, right? To be truth, being truth, right? To be the Gnosis, you have to tell the truth. There's no need, being truth, there's no need to contradict other individuals, because that's not the point. That's the sin. Acceptance includes the responsibility to see and live in Gnosis. You can point out the lies of others, but I'm just saying, it's not about confronting people. Is your ego invested in the old, crappy worldviews of the contracted reality? Think about it. Give me a comment if you have the courage. Okay, unschooling is one of these things a lot of people do. Unlearning. You see, the problem in the human aggregate is reality as a collectively agreed upon torture. We just have to stop agreeing upon that, to put it in a ridiculously simple way. Eventually, sooner or later, it's the key, obviously. For example, the Me Too movement, although that was, somewhat, probably brought into somewhat of a hysteria in some ways, but it was a great starting point or example of how exposing cocksuckers, in this case, exposing the old idea, the story fairy tale we've had about, people sucking cock to get their job wasn't so far-fetched. And I will venture to say that in the real world, no one will suck someone's cock to get a job. That's the fake world. Okay. So, you have to expose the falsities, but there's no need to contradict anyone, And so, learn learn the heart of the brain and the brain of the heart to be able to see. Robert Grant, in an interview I was watching today on YouTube on Portal to Ascension, seeing woke as the Liars Club's version of Awakened, making fun. Seeing the woke ideology as the Liars Club making fun of itself by weakening itself with self-debasing ridicule, like using the symbol of the rainbow for homosexuals. This is how far your future is going to go. 5 minutes, here you go. Ha ha. Take that symbol we gave you and take all the millions of dollars we gave you to promote that symbol of your future. Just say no to chemtrails. No chemtrails. It's an atmospheric river. In other words, they make fun of the idea of the colloquialism chemtrails, but then they tell you it's an atmospheric river when they dump chemicals in the rain and drizzle to make it last for weeks. Living in Gnosis, the wise believe virtually no lies. In other words, if you're a student of Gnosis like me, you're going to believe at least mostly no lies instead of mostly lies, like the average Joe. You become rays of Christ's light in a planetary dark night of the soul that this world is going through right now. A nasty dark night of the soul, especially with the shot victims. Why am I not on a team yet, you might wonder. Well, I am. This is one of the points of the show, is to build my team, but also because, remember, never forget the divine, respectful, original creators, the Christ beings, as well as the divine ETs, the Palladians, Arcturians, the Andromedans, would never consider forcing their will on you, coercing you, forcing you to do anything, terrorizing you, terrifying you like the demiurge, like Yahweh. They would never do that shit. Okay, your real creator is not like that, and they wait to assist you till you ask for help. That's how beautiful and respectful they work under unlike the dark side, they respect the principle of free will. This is why the dark side are rapidly losing their power, because in the second coming of Christ, or Christ awareness of Gnosis, they won't have any power. They'll just be regulated back to the shadow puppets of themselves, shadow beings they are, for those who choose to sin when everyone knows it's pathetic in the future. Okay, so to end this broadcast, I have a little poem I wrote, considering it appeared to me at the moment that they're going to keep this up another day instead of the plan to stop. Gleefully, in nanotech reigns, terraforming a nuclear ice age. Under the climate change narrative guise that the planet is too hot because of the corporations that they had to force you to use to burn it down. Now they're going to freeze it out. Totally drunk off their asses between the forced shots in this atmospheric river. Totally drunk off their asses on stolen, inverted power. The money magic masters, and especially their 15-foot tall anti-human alien handlers, rejoiced and kept the atmospheric river storm going all day. Wednesday, March 23rd, 2023, when they told the forecasters to say sunny, is flunk you, since only Dane and Trey and a few others even have the courage to speak. We'll just drown out all the wilder cows in the herd easily, with almost all of humanity on open and psychic humiliation gag orders, so the wealthy killer clowns and their outer space slave masters get to easily steal some of your bodies and the entire ionosphere. In all cases, the fallen rule these places. So how was that? You have to understand that being a soldier in the information war and being an artist are just two powers that each and every person that has the self-respect and courage and the time and money or energy of any sort of level needs to participate in what Mark Passio calls the great work. Been watching the interview on Dr. Drew's wonderful series of interviews with Gad Sad, a really brilliant man as far as being a teacher of truth, speaking truth. He's really a hero in the movement of speaking truth to power. He was speaking of, like, he's a college professor who escaped war in Lebanon to become a college professor during the right before the lockdown. So he speaks the truth about the woke insanity, and he talks about consequentialism, which he says is the next step before the first step before postmodernism. So he says consequentialism is a real cancer to truth. So I would say studying Mark Passio's presentation, The Unholy Feminine Hypergamy, is a cancer to the future. So if you believe that my teachings are crappy or not worth anything because I don't have an expensive presentation and I'm in a tent, and I say your mind is like cancerous toward the future. And so what we need to do is learn how to root out all these popular cancerous ideas from our subconscious so that they can't grow into physical cancers or prevent the benevolent future that all of the self-respecting individuals and collectives on this planet deserve, but only if they're willing to do the shadow work and collectively figure it out, And again, harmlessness, discernment, self-respect, or how you will overturn the lunacy of this insane mind control that so has its clutches so deeply in. And I really want to say to everyone, believe beyond your beliefs. Be truth. Be the truth of the oneness in your actions and create a great day. Click the notification bell for more. And remember, you are a ray of the sacred Christ in a fleshy suit having this experience.